Hello.
Hello.
My name is Edwin Sánchez, for those who didn't hear my name yesterday. And Carlos and Carolina were very kind to actually allow me to use these few minutes. It's going to be around 10 minutes, presenting what we have done since 2021 related to our communications and digital presence strategy. Okay? So how exactly we evolved to the point where we are, and show just a few things. Again, I'm going to try to go over the whole thing. If you really want to nail on something, you just want to learn more of what we did, more than happy to, step out and talk about it later today. So I'm actually a software engineer, so I kind of had this experience with systems in general. And I have an MBA in entrepreneurship and marketing, so from a marketing standpoint too, I also had some experience. But the truth is that I couldn't make it alone. I mean, this is a huge endeavor. There's plenty of things to do. There's more and more need to actually do things online. I was having this beautiful meeting earlier today about the mission, the digital missionaries, which is fantastic. And by the way, I strongly believe that the more we are present online, the more we can bring and connect with the new generations. So we definitely have to do it. Even though Schoenstatt is primarily a one-to-one relationship, and physical contact, you need to bring them, you need to connect with them somehow and start, creating those relationships that eventually will become present ones. Okay, so that's what we actually wanted to do. The first thing that we set out is kind of a vision that we had. So first is define, unify, and promote a digital identity. So before going on a mission, a digital mission, you need to understand yourself. You need to be unified. You have to have a governed presence online. So we wanted to actually use this identity to serve our members locally in Miami, right, in the whole South Florida area, but also, open through digital means to new pilgrims from all over the world that wanted to know about us or wanted to visit us in Miami. Last, in our vision is to enable this unified digital presence to as a space for everyone to express and connect with the movement. Okay. So in 2021 and 2022, we spent a fair time actually having discussions, defining the committee. I'm not alone. I'm actually with my wife, Paco and Isabel, Diego and Veronica. So there's a team behind it, okay, that worked extensively on this. And the very first thing we did actually was creating the store. We had a store in our shrine, but that store was for whoever actually came to there. So in order to expand the possibility of integrating many people or having people looking for material about Schoenstatt, we actually created and launched this online store. It's been successful, in addition to actually helping with funding some stuff in Schoenstatt. Sometimes we need that funding too. So this is very cool. Now we see people sending, from one side of the state to the other, things that they buy actually in our store. The second thing in 2023, it's actually securing help, systematic or consistent help on our social networks management and community managers. So we had this plethora of people just touching all the social networks that Schoenstatt Miami was working with, and that was an issue in many aspects. So we kind of collected all that, placed that in a governed way, and we actually assigned a person to work all the social activities, the primary activities. Then we define a branding, hence like this logo you see here is what is exactly the presence, what is exactly that represents our movement in Miami, connected to Schoenstatt International and overall, because we were seeing a lot of things like not necessarily aligned expressions of the Schoenstatt presence online for Miami. So we really wanted to make sure that everyone was connected to a beautiful and very aligned way of expressing Schoenstatt in Miami. And we drafted the unified plan. And the very first thing we did in the draft plan was to actually ask the community, our community in Miami, about what is it that you want from a digital presence? How are you connecting with anything online? And in particular with Schoenstatt, what would you like to see from Schoenstatt online, right? And we asked more than 200 people answered this survey, and we actually had that. I'll show you just briefly later, what the results were, but that was the very first thing we did. We worked extensively on actually coming up with that. It was only 7 questions. So we thought this through to make sure that we asked the right questions. And that was the very first opportunity where we actually used AI, like ChatGPT, to help us in the process of building a correct survey that was very revealing, by the way. The second thing is actually we as a result of that survey, we determined that we needed a concentrated way to interact with the members online. And that's how we came up with the idea of developing and launching an app, which, by the way, I'm going to show you later. So you'll have a chance to download it and play with it. And it's an invitation for you to join these same links we built, because many of these things are already done. It's just you jumping on it and using 80 or 90% of these and just, working the last leg of the process for your own communities. And last, connecting all of this through a website that was alive first and governed, the second thing, right? So yeah, turning on the website that in many opportunities is abandoned, in our case was pretty much abandoned. We actually had to hunt our own domain, just to give you an example. But once we actually got access to that domain, we were able to not only build a beautiful website, and that is a template that can be used across the US, but also connected to our app. So everything that you publish in our app is immediately synchronized with our site online. Hence, you only publish in one place, and it spreads out. And that makes it very enticing for communities or new generations to engage with and see the website live. Last, this year, social networks, we finally got a governance on them. We finally collected everything that was just spread out in the hands of many people into, a cohesive way of working our social networks. And we're talking about YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook as the ones we're actually using. We're not using TikTok. We're not using any other, social network right now, even though we're planning on perhaps using others. But these are the ones we are using right now. I'll show you briefly. This is a very important thing, Google for nonprofits. We applied for Google for nonprofits, and we actually got accepted, and that opened a series of resources that are very important for keeping a unified identity online and a governed identity online. Lastly, we launched the site, and now it's live and integrated, and it's working. So the progress so far, the survey results as a first step, then, taking control of our social networks. Third, building the website. Last, Google for nonprofits and the app. Now, let me go briefly, and I'm done with this. The next 1 or 2 minutes, it's going over a few things. So social networks, this is the kind of a style that now you see in our website, on our social networks. So you see beautiful templates, a person who's unifying these messages, so that person communicates with all the different branches and interact with them for having all this material released, which is powerful in terms of the channel. So we have an active channel that is actually used for uploading material, messages from our spiritual leader or any other person who wants to bring messages to our community. So we also work YouTube with a specific presence, a specific message from the movement. Then we have the website. Let me actually show you the website. This is the website. So the website has, and again, we worked extensively on making sure that we had information. I'm sorry for being just in Spanish. Well, this is actually in English too. But the app that I'm going to show, it's in Spanish, but we're working on actually having the English version shortly. But you have plenty of material that you can use. You have the different branches. You can access any of them and see information about those. You can see the Jubilee year, the Santuario, the shrine, and some other projects, even donate. But for example, here we see that the experience is engaging for anyone. This was performed with drones, by the way. And you have plenty of information about this. This is the section where you can see what's posted in the app and it's automatically updated here. So you can see that the site looks live and constantly updated. Finally, on this part, Google for nonprofits. So you have not only the way to manage the movement emails for all the branches. That's actually what we're doing right now, having everyone in the branches using the same emails from the domain we have. And the important thing with that is, for whatever reason you need to move to something else, we get control of the branch or whatever information. So we're not hunting people, for that, and we can continue managing a set of rules on how to manage, communications. But you also get ads, so you can promote, your movement in the region. Yeah, almost done. 30 seconds, and I'm done. I'm going to jump into the last part, which is the app. I have it here. So the app, it's an application you can download to both iPhone and any Android device. Google, you can actually use this QR if you want to experience it. Again, you're going to see it in English right now, but you can have it in Spanish. You're going to have it in English shortly. Now, whenever asked, you select Miami so you can get to see what we're doing in Miami. In the future, if you jump in and you join us, actually you'll have all the different communities in the States. And yeah, there you go. I see you downloaded it. That is great. You'll find plenty of different things. Information, prayers, you're in a spiritual schedule. You'll see, all sorts of different pieces of information. You can even listen to the father's phone and interact with the phone. We actually use AI to reproduce the father's voice, so you can have it, live from the father, which is great. This is the way we are embracing technology. We're embracing AI and serving the community at the same time. Thank you so much.